Growing up in a small town, life wasn't always easy for my little sister Emma. From an early age, she was a sensitive and kind-hearted girl, often overshadowed by our older sister Sarah. Sarah was everything Emma wasn't: confident, popular, and seemingly perfect in every way. Our parents doted on Sarah, proudly displaying her achievements while often overlooking Emma's quieter successes. Emma's childhood was marred by constant comparisons and unintentional neglect. She sought comfort in books and art, developing a rich inner world that only I seemed to understand. I remember how Emma would sit by the window, sketching landscapes or lost in the pages of a novel, while Sarah basked in the attention of friends and family. Despite the disparities, Emma adored Sarah. She looked up to her, seeking her approval and companionship. But Sarah, reveling in her own spotlight, rarely reciprocated. Instead, she used Emma's admiration to manipulate her, always ensuring she remained in control. When Emma entered her teenage years, things didn't get any better. High school was a battlefield of social hierarchies, and Sarah, being a senior, was at the top. Emma, on the other hand, was struggling to find her place. Sarah's popularity meant that Emma was often dragged into the whirlwind of high school politics, where she was used as a pawn to elevate Sarah's status. I recall a particularly painful incident during Emma's freshman year. Sarah had thrown a massive party while our parents were out of town. She invited everyone, except Emma. Emma found out about the party only when she overheard Sarah talking about it with her friends. Heartbroken, she decided to confront Sarah, hoping for an invitation. But Sarah, with a smirk, told her that she wasn't welcome, saying that Emma would only embarrass her. That night, Emma stayed in her room, listening to the distant sounds of laughter and music. It was a defining moment, one that deepened the chasm between the sisters. But Emma was resilient. She poured her pain into her art, creating beautiful, haunting pieces that reflected her inner turmoil. Her teachers noticed her talent, and for the first time, she received recognition that was entirely her own. It gave her a glimmer of hope, a sense of identity separate from Sarah's shadow. Yet, Sarah didn't take kindly to Emma's growing confidence. She saw Emma's artistic talent as a threat to her dominance, and she wasn't about to let her little sister steal any of her thunder. Emma's burgeoning talent didn't just threaten Sarah's dominance at home, it also began to challenge her position at school. Teachers who had once fawned over Sarah's achievements were now paying attention to Emma's artwork. Sarah, who thrived on being the center of attention, couldn't stand the shift in focus. I remember how, during Emma's sophomore year, the art teacher, Mrs. Thompson, nominated Emma for a prestigious statewide art competition. It was a big deal, and for once, Emma felt like she was being recognized for her own abilities. But Sarah's jealousy knew no bounds. She began to spread rumors about Emma, insinuating that she had only gotten the nomination because Mrs. Thompson had a soft spot for her. The rumors spread like wildfire. Emma, who had always been somewhat introverted, found herself isolated and ridiculed by her peers. Sarah watched from the sidelines, her face a mask of innocent concern, while Emma's reputation crumbled. Emma tried to confront Sarah about the rumors, but Sarah denied everything, feigning ignorance and innocence. "Why would I do that to you, Emma?" she'd say, her voice dripping with false sincerity. Emma, already vulnerable, didn't know what to believe. She withdrew further into herself, her once vibrant sketches now tinged with darker themes of betrayal and pain. As the years passed, Emma continued to endure Sarah's subtle sabotage. There was the time Sarah accidentally destroyed one of Emma's paintings, claiming she hadn't seen it lying on the floor. Another time, she forgot to deliver an important message from one of Emma's friends, causing a misunderstanding that cost Emma a close friendship. Despite these setbacks, Emma graduated from high school with honors. She was accepted into a prestigious art college, a testament to her talent and determination. Sarah, who had gone to a nearby university, couldn't bear the thought of Emma succeeding where she hadn't. She began plotting her ultimate act of betrayal. Emma entered college with a mixture of hope and trepidation. She was excited to be surrounded by people who shared her passion for art, but the scars of her past made her wary. She threw herself into her studies, determined to make the most of the opportunity. At first, things went well. Emma made friends, her professors praised her work, and she felt a sense of belonging she had never experienced before. But Sarah, who was still nursing her grudges, couldn't let Emma have her moment of happiness. Sarah began visiting Emma under the guise of sisterly concern. She'd bring gifts, offer to help with assignments, and pretend to be supportive. Emma, who had always craved Sarah's approval, welcomed the attention, not realizing the true motive behind Sarah's sudden interest. Sarah's plan was meticulous. She knew Emma's weaknesses and played on them expertly. She started planting seeds of doubt, subtly undermining Emma's confidence. "Are you sure your work is good enough for this school?" she'd ask, her voice laced with faux concern. "I've heard the competition is really tough." Emma, already prone to self-doubt, began to question herself. She started to struggle with her assignments, the pressure mounting as Sarah's words echoed in her mind. Then came the final blow. Sarah managed to get her hands on Emma's sketchbook, filled with personal drawings and ideas for upcoming projects. She carefully copied some of Emma's best work and submitted it under her own name to a major art competition. When Emma found out, she was devastated. But Sarah wasn't done. She used her connections to spread rumors about Emma, suggesting she had plagiarized her own work. The accusations led to an investigation by the college administration. Emma, who had always prided herself on her integrity, was horrified. The investigation was swift and brutal. Despite Emma's protests and the lack of concrete evidence, the administration decided to make an example out of her. They accused her of academic dishonesty and expelled her from the college. Emma's world shattered. Everything she had worked for, all her dreams and aspirations, were destroyed in an instant. Emma returned home, a shadow of her former self. She couldn't bear to face our parents, who had always been more proud of Sarah. She retreated into her room, her sketchbooks gathering dust, her spirit broken. For weeks, Emma remained in a state of despair, but slowly, a spark of determination began to grow within her. She realized that she couldn't let Sarah win, couldn't allow her to destroy everything she had worked for. Emma began to plot her own revenge. Emma's plan was simple yet effective. She knew that Sarah's job was everything to her, just as art had been to Emma. Sarah worked as a marketing executive at a prestigious firm, a position she flaunted at every opportunity. Emma decided to gather evidence of Sarah's duplicity and use it to bring her down. Emma started by reaching out to old friends and acquaintances, piecing together instances of Sarah's manipulative behavior. She found allies in unexpected places, VDJ people, who had been wronged by Sarah and were eager to see her fall. They provided Emma with stories, documents, and even recordings that painted a damning picture of Sarah's character. Emma also delved into Sarah's professional life, using her computer skills to uncover emails and messages that revealed unethical practices and workplace misconduct. The more she found, the more resolute she became in her quest for justice. With a trove of evidence in hand, Emma prepared to expose Sarah. She knew that simply presenting the information wouldn't be enough. She needed to ensure it would have maximum impact. She decided to wait for the perfect moment, biding her time while meticulously planning her move. Then, an opportunity presented itself. Sarah's company was preparing for a major product launch, and all eyes were on her. Emma saw this as her chance. She compiled all the evidence into a comprehensive dossier and sent it anonymously to the company's board of directors, as well as to key media outlets. The fallout was swift and dramatic. The evidence was irrefutable, and Sarah's bosses had no choice but to suspend her pending a thorough investigation. The media latched onto the story, painting Sarah as a manipulative and deceitful person. Sarah's world began to crumble. She was ostracized by her colleagues, her friends distanced themselves, and her reputation was in tatters. The company, eager to distance itself from the scandal, decided to terminate Sarah's employment. Emma watched from the sidelines, feeling a mixture of vindication and sadness. She hadn't wanted to destroy Sarah, but she knew that her sister needed to face the consequences of her actions. After Sarah's downfall, Emma decided it was time to confront her. She found Sarah at home, a shell of her former self. Gone was the confident, domineering sister. In her place was a broken, desperate woman. "Why, Sarah?" Emma asked, her voice trembling with emotion. "Why did you do all of this to me?" Sarah looked up, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know, Emma. I was jealous, I guess. I couldn't stand the thought of you being better than me." Emma felt a pang of sorrow for her sister. "You didn't have to tear me down to build yourself up, Sarah. We could have both succeeded." Sarah broke down completely, sobbing uncontrollably. Emma, despite everything, felt a flicker of compassion. She reached out and held Sarah, the sisters united in their shared pain. In the months that followed, Emma and Sarah worked on rebuilding their relationship. It wasn't easy, and the scars of the past ran deep, but they both realized the importance of family. Emma's art began to flourish once more, and she even found a way to continue her education through online courses and workshops. Sarah, on the other hand, took a long, hard look at herself and began to make amends. She sought therapy, reached out to those she had wronged, and started volunteering at a local community center. The experience humbled her, and she slowly began to rebuild her life. Emma's determination paid off. She found a mentor in a renowned artist who recognized her talent and offered to help her navigate the art world. With this support, Emma's work began to gain recognition once more, and she started to exhibit her pieces at local galleries. Sarah, too, found a new path. She decided to use her marketing skills to help nonprofits and small businesses, finding fulfillment in supporting others rather than tearing them down. The sisters' relationship, though still fragile, grew stronger with each passing day. Years passed, and both Emma and Sarah had found their own versions of success. Emma became a respected artist, her work admired for its emotional depth and beauty. Sarah, meanwhile, became known for her charitable efforts, using her experience and skills to make a positive impact. The sisters often reflected on their journey, the pain and betrayal that had once defined their relationship, now serving as a reminder of how far they had come. They learned to forgive each other and themselves, realizing that their bond was stronger than any rivalry. Their parents, once blind to the dynamics between their daughters, also grew more aware and supportive. They made a conscious effort to appreciate both Emma and Sarah for who they were, fostering a more inclusive and loving family environment. Emma and Sarah, having found peace with each other, worked together to create a family art and marketing business. They combined their talents to help young artists gain exposure and support, ensuring that others wouldn't face the same struggles they had. Through their experiences, Emma and Sarah learned valuable lessons about jealousy, forgiveness, and the importance of self-worth. They shared these lessons with others, speaking at schools and community centers, hoping to inspire and guide those facing similar challenges. Their story became one of resilience and redemption, a testament to the power of family and the human spirit's capacity to overcome adversity. Emma's art and Sarah's advocacy work became symbols of hope, showing that even the deepest wounds could heal with time and effort. As the years went by, Emma and Sarah's business flourished. They helped countless artists find their voice and achieve their dreams, creating a legacy of compassion and support. Their story continued to inspire, serving as a reminder that redemption and forgiveness were always possible. Emma's art reached new heights, her exhibitions drawing international attention. Sarah's work in the nonprofit sector also gained recognition, and she was invited to speak at conferences and events, sharing her journey and the lessons she had learned. Eventually, Emma and Sarah decided to pass the torch to a new generation. They trained and mentored young leaders to take over their business, ensuring that their legacy of support and empowerment would continue. The sisters, now older and wiser, looked back on their journey with a sense of fulfillment. They had transformed their pain into something beautiful and meaningful, and their bond was stronger than ever. In their quiet moments, Emma and Sarah often reflected on their past. They acknowledged the mistakes they had made and the pain they had caused each other, but they also recognized the strength and growth that had come from their experiences. They cherished the family they had rebuilt and the lives they had touched through their work. Their story was one of hope, showing that even the darkest times could lead to brighter futures. As they sat together one sunny afternoon, watching their students and GGCs thrive, Emma and Sarah felt a deep sense of peace. They had come a long way from the shadows of their childhood and teenage years, and they were proud of the women they had become. Their story was a testament to the power of resilience, forgiveness, and love. It was a reminder that no matter how deep the wounds, healing was always possible, and that even the most broken relationships could be mended with time, effort, and understanding. And so, Emma and Sarah continued to live their lives with purpose and joy, grateful for the journey that had brought them to where they were, and hopeful for the future that lay ahead.